Welcome everybody to another late night reaction with your boy, Mr. That Way. You already know. Let's get into this. See how Dave Chappelle is feeling about Oprah, being a gatekeeper trying to keep people out. Get into it, y'all.
Stumbles, or the cowards rejoice. Nothing feels better to a coward than to watch a brave guy fall.
You know, we live in a world of social media and AI and all that, and this is what will endure. That's right. Hope will endure. Forgiveness will...
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Dave Chappelle is back at it again, calling out Oprah for trying to control Taraji P. Henson. And it looks like Dave is implying that Oprah is a handler and gatekeeper for shady Hollywood higher-ups. For years, Oprah enjoyed a reputation as a humanitarian and philanthropist, but Dave Chappelle has been side-eyeing her from the jump and trying to warn everyone there's more to Oprah's story. You see, Oprah has been caught up in all sorts of drama in her career, from folks saying she shuts down anyone who dares criticize her, and even darker accusations floating around about her alleged ties to human trafficking.
Oprah Winfrey and her BFF. The man in this photo is, quote,
Y'all hear that? Alleged tie to human trafficking. How y'all feel about that? Write that down in the comment. Let me know how y'all feel about that in the comment. Oprah over here trafficking human. I knew we couldn't trust her.
John of God. Oprah promoted him as a miracle healer. This man kept women chained to impregnate so he could sell their babies for organs.
So what's the deal with Oprah and all these allegations about her being a gatekeeper? Did Dave Chappelle really try to warn us about her years ago? Let's get into it.
I'm very good at minding my own business. And the trick to your business is knowing what is your business.
After Taraji P. Henson recently revealed that she almost walked away from the really tried to warn us about her purple, social media has been flooded with negative stories about Oprah allegedly sabotaging and blackballing black folks in the industry out of jealousy. And these are more than just rumors, because multiple high-profile celebs have publicly called out Oprah for being shady, from Toni Braxton and Michael Jackson's family to Monique and, of course, Dave Chappelle. So let's start with Toni, because I feel a lot of people forgot how Oprah did Toni dirty when that whole bankruptcy thing went down. So back in 1998, Toni got into some financial mess because the people she trusted to take care of her finances were making some shady money moves on the low. And she was eventually forced to file for bankruptcy, y'all. Of course, Oprah jumped at the opportunity to get an exclusive story and invited Toni to her show. Toni accepted, thinking it would be her chance to set the record straight and clear her name. But once those cameras started rolling, girl, Oprah flipped the script. And instead of giving Toni a platform to speak her truth, she went in, laying on the heat, making Toni feel dumb for not being money-wise like she is. Oprah pulled a total switcheroo on Toni, turning what was supposed to be a chance to explain into a public grilling.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%?
100%.
Okay.
Because it's my fault, because I trusted and I believed, and it gave me these people. It's okay. And I know no one. I went to college to be a school teacher. And I came to Atlanta and I met all these wonderful people and I trusted them and they believed in me and my talent. I think the most important thing I learned is to trust and believe in myself. And
You hear that, people? She went down to Atlanta. Something about Atlanta, man. Something about Atlanta. Y'all got that hospitality, but in a funny way. Behind them curtains, you heard?
don't put all your trust and belief in someone else when it comes to handling your money.
Oh, please, that is the first rule.
I know, right?
That is success 101.
But Oprah didn't just stop at grilling. She took it further and seemingly clowned Toni's situation, making snarky comments about Toni going from a rich family to bankruptcy and cracking jokes about whether they'd have to pull all of Toni's fancy stuff up for auction.
I know you came from, middle-class parents, father's a preacher and all that. And I came from middle class parents. And I think when you haven't had a whole lot, then the idea of being broke isn't so bothersome because you're used to being broke and it's just a state of being. But when you've had, first of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware. When you've had Gucci silverware and baby grand pianos and you're used to wearing $5,000 and $6,000 and $7,000 gowns at a time and spending $500 on a pair of shoes, it's
Did you know 7 of the largest streaming platforms, like Hulu and Disney Plus, allegedly violated users?
It's a long drop. So how does that make you feel?
It's hard to explain because my image is much bigger than the dollars that I was allowed.
So would there be like a public auction of your things, like that Gucci flatware?
Probably.
There would be that.
And then Oprah did another shady switch-up move, steering the chat.
You can tell by the way Oprah was saying that. You can tell she she was on some. They're gonna put those out for sale, right? She's gonna be the first one when her show is over. The first one out that door to go get them. Whew, greasy Oprah.
Towards Tony's Vibe magazine cover and making things even more uncomfortable. She went from digging into Tony's financial woes to bringing up this revealing magazine cover like it's supposed to be the main dish.
Oh my God.
So you're telling us you had panties on?
Swear to God.
Really?
Swear to God. I had underwear.
That sit-down did Tony dirty and painted her in a really bad light. So after the fact, Tony decided to put Oprah on blast in public, calling her out for being mean. Tony wasn't holding back, and she let everyone know how Oprah's vibe was nothing but negative.
She's so freaking mean to me. I was in shock. I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me. She says to me, I hear you have Gucci flatware. I'm Oprah Winfrey and I don't have Gucci flatware.
First of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware.
You ain't got Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it. It's not because you couldn't afford it. What did you mean? And immediately, she made me feel this big. That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down on me.
Once that Oprah-Tony throwdown resurfaced again years later, Monique chimed in, and she hopped on Instagram to say that Oprah has always been about putting Black women down. Monique posted a clip from Oprah's interview with Tony and wrote, if you think Oprah only demeans Black men, it's because the Black woman has been made virtually invisible. See for yourself with our sister Tony B. And while Oprah might harbor some resentment and jealousy towards beautiful and talented women like Tony, she didn't spare the men her shady side either. Because we can't overlook what Oprah did to Michael Jackson and his family. Back in 1993, Michael gave Oprah the green light to go to Neverland for an exclusive sit-down. And this interview helped put Oprah on the map outside of the U.S. But fast forward to after Michael passing, and Oprah jumped on the hype surrounding the controversial HBO documentary Leaving Neverland and started dragging MJ's name through the mud. Oprah did a whole special with Michael's accusers, Wade Robson and James Safechuck, the two men who had previously sworn under oath that Michael never harmed them in any way. After catching heat for that special, Oprah defended herself, saying she was just trying to shine a light on the pattern of seducing that SA offenders use and expose a larger problem in the entertainment industry.
People call it molestation, but there is a big seducing that goes on, right, and the pattern of that seducing. And that was important enough for me to take the hateration for.
But here's the thing that got fans scratching their heads. Oprah never made a move to shine that same spotlight on her friend Harvey Weinstein's victims or put together a special exposing his whole pattern of seducing. People noticed the double standard quickly, and they were saying how it's mighty interesting that Oprah didn't jump in to do something similar for the woman who spoke out against Harvey Weinstein. So after all this went down, Monique again called out Oprah and accused her of throwing dirt on MJ's legacy.
And this man has been gone for over 10 years.
Y'all hear that? What y'all think about that? How you don't get on Harvey Weinstein and don't do a special on them, on his victim, and have his victims come up and bash him because you had a business deal with him, or AKA trafficking? What y'all think about that? Let me know in the comments.
And not only is he gone, he was found not guilty.
He was found not guilty. So here's a man that was found not guilty in the eyes of the law. In the eyes of the law. And you wait for 10 years after this man is deceased to now do an interview with people that said they lied.
By the way, this is a point that even Michael's own family brought up, calling Oprah out for being two-faced. Brandy Jackson and Taj Jackson, Michael's niece and nephew, went in on Oprah during a podcast talk. And Taj came out swinging, saying Oprah's been playing the Jackson family for ratings for years.
Because, I mean, Oprah was also the one that, you know, when my uncle passed, she wanted the exclusive interview with my grandma and the kids. And I was there and she was talking about how Michael was misrepresented. You know, no one understood Michael and we were trying to get the real Michael. So I think in a sense, Oprah will say what Oprah wants to say to get the interview, you know, and she's done that to our family many times. And so we have a different view of Oprah than everyone else does.
And then Taj mentioned that if Oprah really wanted to expose predators in Hollywood, she would start with her buddy, Harvey Weinstein.
There's plenty of people that Oprah knows that she could have done a special on, yes. You know, someone very big right now that's in the news that no one's talking about that she's friends with. You know, Mr. Harvey Weinstein. And
As for Monique, she knew what she was talking about because her career also suffered after dealing with Oprah. For those of you who don't know, back in 2009, Monique was getting a lot of buzz for her impressive performance in Precious, directed by Lee Daniels and produced by Oprah and Tyler Perry. But after Monique completed all her contractual obligations and was looking forward to finally getting some downtime with her husband and kids, Oprah and Tyler demanded she go overseas and promote the movie for free. Monique politely turned them down, explaining she had already done everything laid out in her Lionsgate contract. But then Lee Daniels reportedly threatened Monique, telling her it's not going to play out well for you. And he was right, because before you knew it, the media started painting Monique as difficult and hard to handle on set. And that's when Monique realized what she was truly dealing with.
What you can't do, Monique, is go against the grain. You can't go against this machine.
But then Oprah did something even shadier and tried to exploit Monique's SA trauma for ratings. Monique opened up before about how she was SA'd by her own brother, Gerald, and how when she spoke out, her parents didn't believe her. So in 2010, Oprah came up with a brilliant idea to invite Gerald on her show. And she even tried to pull Monique in too. But Monique told Oprah she wasn't interested in being part of that episode, although she didn't care if her brother wanted to go. But when the episode aired, Monique was shocked to see that Oprah invited not just Gerald, but also their parents. The same parents who brushed off Monique's SA trauma.
I did assault and inappropriately touch my sister in manners that were not comfortable for her.
Your 20s are supposed to be the best years of your life. But I felt like with a master's degree, $250,000
for her. And for that, I apologize. And I'm humbly sorry.
When Monique caught wind of what went down, it hit her hard. She tried to hit up Oprah and confront her about the mess, but Oprah went ghost. Eventually, Monique bumped into Oprah at some Hollywood event, and Oprah tried to play it off, saying she had no clue Gerald would bring his parents with him. But Monique wasn't buying it, and she suspected Oprah was lying to her face.
I shared with her that me and my mother was not talking. I shared with her we were in a really bad place. I shared with her I was hurt. And, you know, trying to figure this thing out. She never said my mother was coming on that show. Because had Oprah Winfrey said, I'm going to have your mother, I would have said, shut it down. I don't need the world seeing how greedy my mother is.
But through all the mess, drama, and talk swirling around her, Oprah somehow built herself up as this do-gooder, earning awards left and right and getting major props for her charity work. I mean, she even received that Presidential Medal of Freedom back in 2013 from President Obama, despite all the scandals and controversies. But if there's one person who never bought into Oprah's humanitarian image, it's Dave Chappelle. Dave is one of the few celebs who peeped behind Oprah's curtain.
That's my guy right there. Dave Chappelle been on Oprah's back since he been on that main stage. What y'all think about that? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
long before all these scandals blew up. Way back in 2006, Dave appeared on The Oprah Show to set the record straight on why he turned down a $50 million offer from Comedy Central and went to Africa. Dave tried to explain he didn't want to suffer the same fate many of his peers suffered after signing a huge contract. But Oprah played dumb and tried to paint Dave as crazy.
Colleagues recorded as saying that you had become increasingly paranoid. Would you say you were paranoid?
Sure. First of all, what is a black man without his paranoia intact? You might win $100 in a poker game and be on the subway. You're gonna look over your shoulder. They just said in everything I had $50 million. That's like making me a marked man.
So did you go to a psychiatric hospital?
In South Africa?
Yeah.
Who? Huh? Oh, yeah, that's right. I was so...
I'm only asking because
I gotta get people thinking, all right, who goes from America to Africa for medical attention?
Dave then spilled that he had to go to Africa because people around him were literally trying to force him to take antipsychotic meds just because he wanted to have some creative control of his own show. But Oprah completely brushed that off like it was nothing and kept trying to get Dave to admit he was acting paranoid.
And I knew I was going to leave, so I got ahead of schedule.
You see how every time somebody's trying to be independent and do their own thing, Holly Weird always trying to make them take drugs and pills for mental health and psychotic pills just to make them go crazy so they can control their situation and them. What y'all think about that? Let me know in the comments.
And I bounced. And I didn't tell anybody where I was going. The whole time, they're trying to convince me I'm insane. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication. I said, I'm not taking this medicine, man, because I know these people be trying to control you or maybe discredit you. I was afraid,
But you were stressed out. That's why.
There's no question. But it's very stressful for someone to constantly walk behind you and say, you're insane.
And now that Oprah is again in the headlines for all the wrong reasons over supposedly trying to lowball Taraji, people in Dave Chappelle's circle are talking, saying Dave is not batting an eye at these new allegations about Oprah because he clocked her game a long time ago. Dave has apparently been holding on to this belief for a minute that Oprah is one of those handlers playing the game for Hollywood higher-ups and pulling strings behind the scenes. So now that the spotlight is on these fresh claims about Oprah allegedly hating on Taraji, Dave is probably somewhere saying, told you so. But what do you have to say about all these allegations swirling around Oprah and her shady ways? Comment down below and then check out this next video.
So let's talk about the $750